Are you team strict or team flexible?
Cancellation policies, they are one of the biggest debated topics in the hosting world. Do you remain strict with your cancellation policy so that you can protect your income, or do we stay flexible so we can attract more bookings?
Hi, I'm Sarah Karakayan.
And I'm Annette Grant.
And together we are
Thanks for visiting. We've been hosting for well over a decade, welcomed tens of thousands of guests, and earned thousands of 5-star reviews.
Our portfolio continues to bring in over 1.5 million year over year, and supported not only by the industry's leading brands, but also some of the biggest media outlets.
And we're here to help you with your furnished rental. Here's what we're going to cover today. We are going to cover all of the different cancellation policies that there are on Airbnb.
We're going to go over what happens when a guest cancels and what you can expect as the host.
And we're going to talk about the reality of guests asking to cancel and get a refund even if you have that strict policy. It's not going to make you void from these exceptions wanting to come through.
And here's the deal. Today's video disclaimer is that there is no right or wrong answer to any of the content that we're sharing with you today. We just know hosts can mull over these issues and they just don't know what to do. So we want to share with you what we do in our business so that you can take it and make it your own. So let's go over all of the different cancellation policies that Airbnb offers us as hosts.
And those are going to range from flexible to, yes, super strict. All right, and this is coming from Airbnb's policy page. Now, here's a quick breakdown of each option. We have flexible. That is a full refund up to 24 hours before check-in. Moderate, a full refund up to 5 days before check-in. Firm is a full refund up to 30 days before check-in. A partial refund after. And then the strict, which is a full refund up to 48 hours after booking if at least 14 days before check-in. Otherwise, 50% refund until up to 7 days before check-in. And then we have super strict. And this is by application only. And these are even stricter rules. And these are usually for specialty properties.
So as you're gearing up to whether it's list your property on Airbnb or you're already listed and you just picked a cancellation policy because you were overwhelmed, today's video is going to be for you because we are going to share with you what policies actually do to your booking velocity, so how often you can get booked, and whether or not being flexible means more bookings, or if you can stay strict, protect your income, and still get booked. There is a theory out there that Airbnb boosts listings that have strict cancellation policy. Annette, is this true?
No, like there is no confirmation from Airbnb that a certain cancellation policy is going to boost you in the algorithm. And we hear it every day. Hosts are looking for a hack to boost their property in the algorithm. You know what? I'm just going to give you a hack right now. Be an awesome host. There are no hacks.
Yes.
But we could sit here all day long and talk to hosts that had a strict one, got more bookings, made it more flexible, got more bookings. You could go from house to house, from host to host, and review those policies, and we're not going to be able to let you know one or the other.
So there is something where I know a lot of hosts who want to maybe move to a more moderate or strict policy, but they're afraid that if they do that, guests won't book. Well, I can tell you that of the listings that end up on the first page, more often than not, 50% of them have a strict cancellation policy, meaning that if you're a good host, you deliver on what you promise your guest they will get when they stay with you, and your policy, your cancellation policy is in line with what's needed by the market, right? Then you have every opportunity to land on the first page of searches with other hosts who have more flexible cancellation policies. Here's what I can tell you. You can search and find out whether your direct competitors, what cancellation policies they have, and either decide to do what they're doing or still knowing all that, do what's best for you and your business. If you have a really large property that it takes like your booking window, like it takes a while, or people want to plan ahead to book it, and so canceling close to the date would truly have a big financial impact to your business, you might want to choose that strict cancellation policy. However, we really specialize in our market in downtown Columbus in small 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom properties. They are easy for us to fill up last minute. So we can offer flexible or more moderate policies because it doesn't impact our business if a guest can't show up even though they booked. So you really have to do what's best for you, and just know, no matter what you choose, if you've got a great property with pricing that's in line with the market and a cancellation policy that makes sense, you have every opportunity to get boosted by the Airbnb algorithm and end up on those first page searches.
The one thing we get asked all the time are, Sarah and Annette, what are the apps that you use, that you recommend, that you love to run your Airbnb business?
First and foremost, if you are not using a dynamic pricing software, what are you even doing? PriceLabs.
It is the first piece of technology that you should get once you're on Airbnb. Get PriceLabs, because it is the one app, it is the one piece of software that you connect to your Airbnb that is going to make you money. Because it's not Airbnb's smart pricing. Airbnb's smart pricing cares about Airbnb. PriceLabs is third party, gets data from your market, and helps you make better pricing decisions. So when your expenses increase or when you're running your numbers on potential buy, you go to PriceLabs for all that information. It will map it out for you and show you exactly what you need to do to make a smart purchase decision and to price your property throughout the entire year.
So click the link in our show notes to start your free 30-day trial today and see how PriceLabs transforms your revenue. Let's dig into the reality of having a strict cancellation policy that you have to enforce. Just because you have it doesn't mean that, yes, it'll be enforced, but it doesn't mean you're not going to have guests. They're going to ask you for a refund, ask you for a more flexible policy.
That goes for like any rule you set.
Right, exactly. Every single rule, there's going to be someone that wants to.
You're not pet friendly, they're going to ask you anyway, right?
Let's talk about some refund-specific situations. Number one, maybe you're in a ski town and it forgot to snow. All right, and they're not able to ski. Another one, maybe you're in a beach town and there's a hurricane coming through and they're scared of the hurricane, and rightfully so. And we don't really want to talk too long about these topics, but these are real life things that happen. There might be a death in the family.
Yeah.
Maybe someone's just got a sudden illness, can't make it on the trip. Car broke down. Maybe a flight got canceled. There are so many things that can happen as us being humans lifing that you need to be prepared as a host to have these inquiries come at you and want that flexible refund, even if you've set the strict refund.
So let this discussion, let it be that time in your life, that space as a host to make these decisions. When these questions come to you to break your cancellation policy, this is whether you're a moderate policy or even if you're flexible and they're trying to cancel hours before arrival,
right, exactly.
which has happened, you should still prepare yourself. Are you going to stand firm? Are you going to bend the rules? Or maybe you'll do like a mixture of both of what we can do is offer you a discount on a future stay with us, right? Some sort of credit on a future stay with us. And here's what I can tell you too, even if you decide on what your policy is for your company, there might be a scenario that pops up where it's your policy to stand firm, but something in your gut tells you to bend the rules a little bit.
Right.
But anyone listening out there right now who maybe you're running a co-hosting business or a property management business, and now you've got people who help you with reservations, you don't want to leave them stranded on making a decision where they have to get a hold of you to make that call. And so having maybe a decision tree for your team, because it could be as simple as black and white, right? Whether we're strict or we bend the rules. Or maybe it is a little bit more flexible, where depending on the story they give you and the time frame before the stay, or maybe the amount of revenue that is on the line, whatever that might be for you and your business, develop a decision tree as best as you can to empower your team to make the call for you.
And again, let's get to that reality. You may have your decision tree, that we're going to stick to our plan, and be prepared. You could have if you stick to your plan, stick to your policy, the guest could come back with an emotional appeal. They don't like your answer. They could really, really dig in, you know, like, how can you live with yourself? This is my hard-earned money. Or maybe, you know, again, there was whatever the circumstance might be. You have to be prepared that just standing firm in whatever your cancellation policy is doesn't mean the guest is going to say, okay, thank you. Sometimes they might, but be prepared for those emotional appeals, and they can get real. So we want to give you some scenarios where we've held firm, because they can still leave you a review, all right? And we know a lot of people, hosts get really nervous about people holding like the reviews hostage. So for instance, the boss, Bruce Springsteen, had a concert coming to town, and it was a weekday performance. And again, our properties really cater to couples. We were fully booked with all these couples coming to town to see the boss, you know, see him in concert. And he canceled day of.
People were driving to town.
Right. They were like en route when he unfortunately had to cancel. And that was when we stick to the policy. That was so out of our control. It wasn't Mother Nature. It was actually the performer. And a lot of those folks, you know, of course they asked, but then they turned their frown upside down, like, you know what, we're still going to come. We're still going to go out to dinner. We're still going to have a good time. So a lot of them we could still just say, hold firm, and they were just good with it.
And I can tell you the decision tree on that one was, it was such a big concert that I feel we were 100% booked across, you know, some 30, 40 properties. And every reservation that night would have been, like, our entire portfolio would have been at 0%. And that kind of loss we could not take on.
Right.
So that, you know, it's that revenue impact where that might help you decide what you can and cannot do. But we are honest with you, like, no one left us a bad review for sticking to our cancellation policy, and everyone still showed up and had a good time. So, and we couldn't believe it. We thought like 10% of them would push back or leave us a not a great review, but we didn't experience that in this case. But let me tell you another story. Let me tell you at a time that I did bend the rules, but only because I got guilted into it. This is a very real story. I was managing a property that is Insta-famous, and it's a beautiful property, and it's an expensive property because it's unique. And we have a strict cancellation policy because if you cancel close to arrival day, we probably maybe could rebook it, but probably not for the same rate, or it's just a lot of work to rebook it with the right guest. Like, it is what it is. This guest asked for a refund. I think it was just a couple days like before they were meant to arrive. Whole sob story. I forget what the sob story was. And I wrote back. I have a templated email with our stand firm policy because this is what we decided as a team for this property we would do. And it's very kind. It explains to them, you know, we manage this property for a family, and it takes this amount of, I really provide a lot of transparency.
I know exactly why they couldn't come. It was not a death. It was not a sudden illness. It was
I remember now too.
They had gotten pregnant in the time. Like, you know, it wasn't something where it was like, you know, traumatic. Trauma.
But even still, because people will make up stories. And
it doesn't matter really what it was, but you still.
But you're not wrong. But you're not. It was one of those things where, like, well, you knew that this could happen. Anyway, it's okay. But I sent the email where I stood firm. When I tell you, they wrote back, and they were like, you know what we'll do? We will create a website dedicated to your company name. So hostingcompany.com. And the entire website will be dedicated to how terrible you are as a human being.
Isn't that called blackmail?
Yes.
I don't even know if
it's called blackmail.
Okay.
And I could not believe it. Like, they were ready to tear down our small company. And like, he told me that he would get on Twitter, where he had quite a lot of, apparently a lot of following. And he was going to tweet out the URL and really tear me down. And so I then picked up the phone and I called this guest, and they answered the phone. And I shared with them, I am so disappointed that we can't come to an agreement where you honor the rental agreement that you signed, and that the family who's expecting this revenue to come in can no longer count on this revenue. And your choice is to retaliate in a way that would affect me and my family and my business just for upholding that contract. But, you know, I don't want the threat that you're bringing on to us, and I do wish you well, and I went ahead and canceled the reservation on his behalf. And it was just one of those moments where you're like, there are humans out there like that. And I could have fought it, like, it probably is blackmail.
And honestly, in fairness to this gentleman, he probably thought you were being one of those humans not being fair, like we thought he wasn't being fair. So
Everyone's perspective is like, it is what it is. Yeah.
guess what? We are humans, humaning, life is
Every
life.
day.
But we're going to go over a few things you can. Again, how to kind of balance protection for you and the guest. Number one, there is travel insurance.
Yes.
Okay, Airbnb offers it. Direct booking site, you can offer it too. So that's always a nice way if someone wants to cancel. Say, oh, did you purchase travel insurance?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the first thing. They're like, oh shoot, I knew I should have done that. Because if you're like me, I know every time I book a flight, it asks me, do you want the travel? And I go, nope. And I know I made that. I didn't get the travel insurance. So that's always something that you can offer. The next thing is offering a rebooking instead of the full refund. So we like to give these options so they can see like you're working with them here. And then the other one that I really, really works well is letting the guests know, if I can rebook it, I will gladly refund you. And that one works and feels very fair. Everyone's kind of winning at that point in time. Again, it depends on your workload. It depends on what's going on in your life. But we just kind of wanted to give you some of those alternative options to just fully, not having to do refund the entire reservation. So those are all food for thought for you.
Okay, so for fun, we dug into guest messaging, and we're going to share some real exchanges with guests, with you, just to get a feel for how we handle it in our business. Again, I can't stress this enough. If you're like, ugh, I would never handle it the way Sarah and Annette did, that's okay.
Do you.
Because now you are, by hearing how we do it, you are like, nope, that's not for me. I like the way I do it. Or we could share with you how we do it, give you a behind the scenes look at our business, and you can say, you know what? I kind of like the way I do it this way, but I also like an element of this doing it this way. So that's what this is going to be about. All right. This one is from Amira. This is a good one to learn from. Good morning, Sarah. I hope you are well. My name is Amira, and I am interested in your beautiful unit for the dates June 9th through the 22nd. I just have a couple questions regarding if the unit is refundable and about parking. At checkout, it said that this unit is non-refundable, but on the Q&A page under the price and availability tab, it says full refund after 24 hours. I just wanted to get clarification on if it's refundable or non-refundable. Lastly, what kind of parking is available, blah, blah, blah. So this is a good one because with the flexible cancellation policy, at least as of right now, they can choose to make it fully refundable by getting a little bit of a discount at booking, or non-refundable. So they have that option.
It's like, how risky are they?
How risky are they? Right. So we responded with, good morning, Amira. We would love to host you. We offer two options. At checkout, you can toggle to which one you prefer. One is a refundable option, and the other is a non-refundable option with a slight discount. I think, did I say that right the first time? Non-refundable, they get a slight discount. Okay.
Yeah.
We offer free off-street parking. It is on a parking pad behind the home. So just know that when you choose these cancellation policies, different online travel agencies might even offer a more nuanced option. And sometimes this confuses guests. And so we have to educate them on why that is.
Clarify.
And sometimes they'll pick the option where they get the discount and they still want to cancel. And you have to remind them
that they chose it.
Dear sir or madam,
And again,
you chose
depending
that.
on when they booked it, they might have forgotten.
No, for sure. Okay, this is from Maria. Okay, here's an option from Robin, or in a scenario with Robin where we decided to stick to our policy. So Robin, the booker, says, I'm aware of your policy, but figured I ask if I could get a refund. I made a reservation in error before reading your entire guide. Is it possible to get a refund or a partial refund? Because it would allow me to find other accommodations. Thank you either way. And we responded, it depends on what cancellation policy you selected upon checkout. Let me look up what you selected. I see you select the non-refundable option, so we would not be able to refund. And then Robin says, I wasn't aware there was another option. Okay, thanks for the response.
And this is where, as a host, you don't want to automate everything, okay? And this is where you want to actually read the messages, read through what the guest is saying. So this person here, like the way I'm consuming this, is he was like, would it be possible?
Right. Thanks either way.
Partial. Yeah, it would be great. I could help me either way. So they kind of, the way I'm saying is like, oh, he already knows that he chose the non-refundable strict one. So again, you can kind of like see the way the guest is messaging you. And this is throughout every message a guest sends to you. You want to read through it, and there is a narrative there in the words that they choose.
All right, let's get another example. This is from Angie. Hi there, we currently have a medical emergency and are unable to come on the dates we booked. Am I able to get a refund or credit for another stay with you guys in the future? We have to come back next month to Columbus and would like to stay with you in the event we are unable to get a refund. I apologize. We responded, hi Angelica, so sorry to hear about the emergency. That is key there in hospitality to acknowledge what they said, right? So I heard you, there is an emergency. I just looked at your reservation. I see you booked the non-refundable option. Let me get with my team and see what we can do. And so Angie says, okay, thank you. I hope you guys are understanding. And so even though Angie said, I hope you guys are understanding, I am willing to wager, because I know our little decision tree, that there was enough time before guest arrival. We're probably in our high season where with our small properties, we know we can get it rebooked.
She is saying, I have to come back next month. So it's like, hey, this is a potential recurring guest.
So we responded, hello, we are able to refund you. What we need to happen is that you will need to cancel Airbnb on your end. Remember, if you cancel as the host, it is a ding on you. So if the guest wants to cancel because of their schedule changes, make sure they take that action. And then I will be able to reach out to the Airbnb support team saying that we are refunding you 100% of your stay, which Angie says, perfect. Thank you so much. All right, let's see what else we've got.
The key to all of this, remember, this is your business. So these are your decisions, but the key there is it is your business. You have to treat it as if, it is a business. So if you have these policies, they're there for a reason. I think all of us have felt the sting of something not being refunded, but we understood that was the business policy. So I think just putting that hat on, like, okay, this is my business. What is best for me? We just want to make sure that you have a plan, because we all know these scenarios are coming your way.
So let us know, what is your cancellation policy?
Yeah, are you team strict? Are you team flexible? Or
maybe you're moderate,
right? And how leave us in the comments, like, how do you handle these things when they do come across your messaging app with the guests?
If you have a template, share that in the notes below, in the chat.
Yeah, if
in
you've
the
got
comments.
some tips and tricks that have really helped you navigate some difficult situations, please share. That's what we're here for.
And if you want to keep on learning, we've got this great video about the 3 things that you can do with your short-term rental right now that'll help you stand out in the market. You gotta check it out. With that, I am Sarah Karakayan.
I'm Annette Grant, and together we are
Thanks for visiting.